am the maniacal Dr. Watson. Welcome back to Sunless Skies. As you can tell, I'm right after where we left. Ready to go. So, as I said at the end of the last episode, I think we're going to go over by Leadbeater since we haven't been there in a while. See what there is to see, and then make our way up through the north part of the map. Since we have quite a few requests up there, like I know we have something in Port Avon. I don't quite remember what it was. I could double check, but like we should be fine. We're going to Leadbeater. One, we can pick up a fresh port report there, but mostly because we had a quest that we had to wait 15 days in game for, and I haven't really kept track of the date since then. I didn't go and check the other videos, so we're just gonna go and see if they're ready for us. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I'm heading straight for a wall. Not the brightest move. But yeah, so far we've been somewhat successful. We don't necessarily have a whole lot of money, and right now we have some of our money just sort of like tied up in goods, which is meh. Like we have a few pieces of bronze wood, which seem to be good for a lot of things. The undergrowth draws in the calls of the unknown. Gargantuan beasts rattle your engine here. The reach runs wild. We have like quite a few reasons to go to Port Avon. Oh, we needed to go to Port Avon for polymers in plenty. So likely we'll swing by there after going there. Let's see. This was something we did early on, which is why I'm thinking we should be, like, we've waited long enough. How deep the greens, how cold the stars, how wide the reaches run with no sun to govern it. Oop. I just am not a very good driver. Who allowed me to drive this thing? We haven't fixed up our hull in a little while. I probably should have done that, but let's go to Albert's Idyll, into the reserve. The park is full of birds and flowers, trees and wood-like creatures, streams and bumbling insects and other insidious dangers. Here, no, actually, I forgot to read this. The Leadbeater and Stainrod Nature Reserve is an immense, untrodden hinterland of the Reach's unreasonably fecund flora and fauna. It is popular with the London's most outdoorsy tourists. Visitors are not allowed to venture too deeply into reserve without escort. So arrange for a guide. There's a romantic ornithologist. He is lean and plainly dressed with a long, wiry beard. The other researchers introduce you. Did you know that our colleague here indicates that the ornithologist is looking for the mythical bird who pecks away at the mountain of eternity? They stifle giggles. The ornithologist maintains his smile and gestures toward the forest. I'll be glad to show you the reserve. I hope you'll join me later. You can find me at the watchtower. Let's go visit the ornithologist. If he is not hiking through the wilderness or camping beneath the broth of one of the great trees, he is sat alone in his watchtower watching for his bird. Welcome T. We can ask about the bird, ask about the reserve, or ask about his fellow researchers. Is he on good terms with the other scientists? I'm actually somewhat curious about this. The ornithologist tilts his head from side to side. I get on better alone. It's not that I don't enjoy company, but he scratches his beard. I think it's a difference in philosophy. They want to conquer nature and her secrets. I want to be her confidant. Um, is this the place? I think this is the place. Uh, Capabilities Inquest. The clump of cabins used by Leadbeer and Stainrod's researchers as they plumb and catalog the secrets of the reserve. Enterprising captains may find work here for the company. May find work for the company here. Um, Ask the phlegmatic researcher about his completed research. He left a note on the dock asking you to drop by. The phlegmatic researchers welcome you to his table with a booming, "Sit down, sit down." He calls for one of his scouts to pour you a brandy. "Thanks to the hard labor of my fine colleagues, we've done it. Witness the culmination of their efforts." It's just outside the window. The phlegmatic researcher points with his walking stick and raises his eyebrows theatrically. I just realized something. So I think one of the things we needed to get for this guy was basically amber. Is this a Jurassic Park? An orchard is growing outside. The trees will all bear, well, one cannot say fruit, as they bear potatoes and carrots, while others have ears of corn hanging like pine cones. The phlegmatic researcher raises a glass. "I call them sapling knots. With careful discipline, it's possible to harness the Reach's chaos and abundance. After that, one may dictate growth. Wood may be negotiated with." Okay. And apparently he just threw us a sack of verdant seeds. Interesting. Oh, and now we can bring him more stuff. Sure. What's on his list? He needs one of the following requests. Of course, he's happy to report you for more. Experiments sanctioned by the company. Okay, so the stomach of a cantankery, a cutting of the titanium petal, a fungal crinoline. Interesting. One could better determine the dietary habits of these ancient beings. Well, this is the one I think we're most likely able to do. We could establish the relation that I bear with the creatures through their eating habits. Then we know more of the history of this new horizon. Okay. Perhaps not. There was some other stuff that we could have asked him for, but unloading this concrete base for unloading and loading and unloading locomotives. It disappoints tourists who expect to arrive at a scenic waterside. It mainly caters for the workers of the Leadbeater and Stainrod Company who come to collect goods from the laboratories here. Cable cars linked to the main reserve below and the scientific base of capabilities in Quest. We should gather a report. It's a national park maintained at great expense by the company. Scores of researchers come here to study the nature of the Reach. Many visitors come here too for a pleasant holiday. Export sapling knots? Someone has ordered them from Leadbeater and Stainrod. There's an open call for captains willing to deliver. I'm interested in this. This one's going to New Winchester. To Port Prosper, New Winchester. Interesting. So we can also end up taking them to Port Prosper. Well, we'll be going there at some point. This seems pretty... This seems like this all went pretty well. Apparently they'll take... Ooh, they're selling caddies of dried tea. I'll be honest. Oh, they won't buy it, though. Let's just take an additional fuel. Oh, nope. No. We're buying. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really want more sacks of verdant seeds. I was somewhat interested in taking this. Available in 30 days. Okay. Let's at some point come back for that, since I know we can actually make use of that. I know we haven't gone through all this stuff here, but we'll probably be back. And also, I'm somewhat sure that we actually visited him speaking about the bird. Well, he seems to be doing something up there. Now, we sort of have... Oh. A free caddy of dried tea. Honestly, get rid of the verdant seeds. While they are worth more, I'd rather take the tea. We have fuel. Let me see if the bat finds anything. A station? Okay. Okay, let's go there. I'm extremely surprised that there's a station there. Also, I don't know, we have a passenger that said that they wanted to go to Trader's Wood, but does that mean Port Avon, or does that mean deeper into it? Like, does that mean the camp where the dude, the scholars are at? Obviously, these are rhetorical questions, since I'm speaking to myself in the past. I'm extremely interested in the fact that there's a port up here. I mean, we're doing well for ourselves. Maybe they want us to go off to the left there. That's what we should actually do. So we'll visit these next two ports, go into Trader's Wood, but head left this time. And game, thank you. It's gotta be loading in areas whenever it's doing that. Let's see. Oh. Titania is like a brooch. I want it. Oh. Oh, what is this? A city built on a flower? Bloom bower? Ooh. What is this? Your engine is mostly crude? That night, your sleep is peppered with uncomfortable dreams. The sky of your dream is blazing gold. It is peppered, no, crowded with suns. Suns piled on suns, like the groats in a miser's hoard. Their light floods you. It shines through skin and blood and meat, picking out your branching veins and slender pillars of your bones. Is there no more to you than this? You wake. So we can seek company, commit your dreams to the captain's log. Honestly, gain terror and a tale of terrors, that sounds like the best thing we can do. Yeah, trap the dream like a fly in amber. Record the dream as vividly and as thoroughly as you can. Does your hand tremble as you write? Does the ink spill? And when you read it back, does it make sense? Or does it sound like the ravings of a crumbling mind? Okay. So I'm highly interested in this. This also seems to be one of the things that he was looking for. Valentine Square. Titania is cupped in the petals of a colossal orchid, heady with scent, lurid with color. An enclave of bohemians have made it their home, seeking inspirations in the wildness of the Reach. So I'm quickly... Ooh, they'll take munitions. We actually have those to sell. They also will buy cords of chorister nectar. Well, they sell them at quite a steep price, but at least we have a place to find it now. Ooh, we don't actually have enough for all of that. That's a yikes. Or no, wait. Oh, no, wait, they're selling those. Let's visit here. Let's first go to the port. Oberon's Landing. The port unfurls itself, welcoming you ashore. This perfumed haven was intended for thinkers, artists, philosophers, and poets. Instead, you enter its main dome to find yourself surrounded by arguing bohemians and the unfinished shells of buildings in a variety of styles. Nobody looks happy, but everybody agrees it's someone else's fault. So we should ride a port. Such beauty, such a pity about the nearby chorister hive. What is Titania? A question with no easy answer. To the poets, a place of inspiration. To the stoneworkers, an untouched slab. To the playwrights, a blank page. A place of tranquility, of creation. An interviewee pauses, suddenly looking worried. Do you hear buzzing? Apologies. Must get inside. You can't see or hear anything, however, and must assume it's just the force of habit. Okay, so they have, of course, their beehive problem. We can speak with the rhapsodic mayor. When the port is undamaged? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's visit them before the port gets undamaged. Titiana's petals fill the air with a perpetual perfume, but eventually you become accustomed to it. Even so, the scent of the many flowers in the mayor's small office sends your sense reeling. Obviously unaffected, she sits behind her desk and gestures for you to take the other chair. So we can request a cutting. So that's how we get that. We can ask about work in the port. Return to the main square. Let's first request a cutting. The phlegmatic researcher in the lead beater and stain raw nature reserve has expressed interest in Titiana. The rhapsodic major is only too happy to oblige you. I'll have a sample sent to your engine in a moment, she says. We may not be scientifically minded here, but we do love to learn more about our wonderful flower. That was easy enough. Let's ask them about it. How can a place like this flourish out here in the dark? A spectacular place, isn't it? We couldn't believe that nobody else had colonized it after, well, whoever built all the crystal domes and spires. Honestly, I can't believe our luck. Ah. Ask about work in the port. I think you'll find most of us self-sufficient, Captain. Enjoy your visit. Take in some poetry. If I think of anything that we might require, you will be the first to know. Not the bee problem? Let's explore the place. The jewel of the Reach. Light sparkles through the jeweled petals onto the marble white paths. Wherever you explore, poets and singers perform their latest works, while artists peer behind canvases to try to capture the beauty in oil and chalk. In the horrors of the high wilderness, this is a place of safety and wonder, where nothing could possibly disturb the peace. But what is that buzzing in the distance? Return here later to see how it is faring. Okay. I can see what's happening. Let's do that then. Actually, supplies are quite expensive here. Um, Fuel seems okayly priced, so let's buy an additional fuel. Okay. This is a surprisingly open area as well. Hmm. We also now have reason to like go back to Leadbeater and Stainrod. I think we're good. Oh, apparently we didn't find Petal's End, even though we probably drove like right by it. So let's head around north. Posey Park. Interesting. Okay, so it seems like we could go up in that direction. That probably leads into Trader's Wood, but we actually have business in Port Avon. I mean, we're doing okay. We are low on funds, but we also have a number of port reports we can currently turn in. So as long as we don't starve. And there's something worth something up here. Ooh. Great. Free unseasoned hour. Oh, right. We've been here before. This might have been where we got one of our current captains. Or not captains, but crew. Something to crave down there. It looks like we're really close to a level. Yeah. Level 4. We're actually doing okay. I think we died early on, but other than that. I think that's what New Beginnings is, if I remember correctly. The Incautious Drivers. No, it's slightly different from the one that I crashed into. Let's actually visit here, because we can get good stuff. Ooh, it's an abandoned homestead. We have a 31% chance of success. Let's take it. Failure. The homestead has already been pillaged. However, an odious smell leads you to a loose floorboard where someone has concealed a bundle of blood-caked valuables. The rings are still attached to severed fingers and the earrings to ears. However, hence presumably the smell. Well, other than the fact that I just crashed into it, costing us slightly more hull, that seemed like it went pretty okay. Today the sky is as cool and blue as ice in a glass. So let's visit Port Avon. A quiet day in Port Avon. Oh no, they won't. They want more bronzewood. Well, let's go to the dock. A pleasant breeze wafts through the village, making it even its pricklier residents relax their guard and welcome guests. For 20 sovereigns? Sure. 2 fuel for 20 sovereigns. That is cheap fuel. Oh, we already had plenty of fuel, though. was the tea party. Let's do that. Clink of cups. The locals are still essentially British. They cannot resist the smell of tea. They enter nervously, like stray cats approaching an unexpected bowl of milk. As you pour, one attempts tentative conversation about the weather. You express amusement. Soon he has relaxed enough to risk an actual opinion. You smile into your cup. You're one of them now for a little while. Commission the reclusive carpenter to repair the magician's equipment. Also report, real quick. Lever and several allegedly magical boxes delivered him. The carpenter squints at the letter and then gives a quiet harumph. Another one? Fine. Looks like I'll need a scribe spinster. Yes, yes. The whole thing dead, of course. I wonder if this is that extremely terrifying thing we keep on seeing to the south. Okay. He's the whole corpse of a scribe spinster. The village green. The Nowhere Inn. Or Cyclopean ruins. All is well. Let's go to the village green. The heart of the village, surrounded by orchards of real apple trees that were shipped through the avid horizon as seeds. An endowment of years from her renewed majesties grew them into swift maturity. This is something that I don't think has necessarily been touched on, but it's the fact that time is fluid. And apparently you can just hand time over. You could take a relaxing stroll around the park. In fenced plots across Port Avon, grizzled horticulturists tame the rampant vegetation of the reach. So we have a 62% chance of success. Let's do that. Ooh. Contents of the allotments are unlike familiar vegetables, but it helps to look for the similarities. That bulbous squash is too lumpen, too spotty, too purple to be a marrow, but it's more like a marrow than it is like a cucumber. The little fruits clumped on the serpentine vines are certainly not cherries. Cherries are not hairy, but they are closer to cherries than they are to, say, kiwi fruit or otters. Call it a marrow then. Call them cherries. It helps somehow. The gardener, mistaken our cognitive reshuffle for hunger, offers you a handful of freshly dug, tapered, tiger-striped roots. Let's call them carrots. Let's visit the Nowhere Inn. A tour of the heaven describes Port Avon's single public house as a welcome respite, justly fumed for its authentic old earth cider. Locals can be welcoming for a while. Appreciate an amount of cider. We only need 2. Short-sighted cryptologist. Intercede in a mushroomy matter. Cryptozoologist. Ooh. Okay. Or head upstairs. The pub is out of scrumpy. The barman blames a creature, a cross between a mushroom and a jellyfish. It sways in its seat at the bar. Who does this creature belong to? Bellows a man. Fuchsia with rage. The Blemigan he points at is a grizzled member of his species, most of whom were left behind in the Neath. The fuchsia gentleman roars in fury. Between bellows, the truth emerges. The Blemigan is no one's pet, and, far worse, no one will admit responsibilities for its tab. The Blemigan is unconcerned with the tumult. It nods its cap at you with a grim respect, then flops a tendril into a mug of stout. It stares bleakly through the window. How much is this bar tab? It's 50. This will give you a mascot that raises your iron by 2 and your mirrors by 1. I'm tempted to do it. We don't really have the money for it, though. Let's do it. I don't know if we even have a mascot at the moment. As the fuchsia gentleman inflates for a particularly prolonged diatribe about ill-mannered captains and their disorderly pets, the Blumendigan climbs to the bar top to consider your face. It likes what it sees. With a sound like a shoe being pulled from a swamp, the Blumendigan finishes its drink. So like a sort of noise. It clambers up your arm until it reaches your shoulder, from where it directs you to the door. It is experienced in surviving the cold of the heavens and the heat of those who too cowardly to traverse them. It respects you. It will serve you well. So I think it's time we go. Sure. Let's quickly... we didn't actually have a mascot before. Interesting. Let's go ahead and set it up. So we now have a Blumendigan as a mascot. And with that, that is the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to see more of these episodes, go ahead and subscribe, and then you also got to hit that little bell thingy. And I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.